It's a Friday, baby! Doesn't know! DJ Jazzy on the remix, baby! Hey! It's a Friday!
Hey everyone, Jolly Dave from Day-to-Day Senior Care. How are you? Just wanted to say thank you all, especially our YouTube channel at Day-to-Day Senior Care. Over 30,000 views, 350 plus new subscribers in less than 60 days. Seriously, that's awesome. I'm so thankful, so appreciated for that. But I just wanted to let you know before I have to jump on this starting your own senior care business live episode on YouTube channel, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram now. We're now on Instagram live as well. Okay, everyone, have a great weekend. We've got a lot coming. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Hey, everybody, how are you? Welcome. Let me just make sure the sound is up here. Okay. Make sure everyone can hear me. Welcome to our starting your own senior care company podcast. Okay. I'm Charles Day. I'm the host. I'm also the owner founder of Day-to-Day Senior Care. And I'm happy to get into our newest episode, episode 9. The Caregiver Crisis, recruiting and retaining the best. All right. So if you've been following me, which I know many of you are, and that's why I had that video thanking everybody for coming to our, it looks like primarily our YouTube channels where everyone is coming. They may not catch us live because I know people has a lot of busy day, everyone's busy, but people are showing up and I'm just so grateful. So anyway, let me just get it set up here. We've got our slide deck to the right or your left. And I'm going to jump into this. This is our second to last of our series that we started a few episodes back. Okay. If you recall, what we did is I have my papers here. All right. So what we've learned so far is our first episode in this series, okay, was the blueprint. And we were talking about choosing between non-medical in-home care, assisted living, and the adult care centers. Then we went on to our next 30-minute episode and titled The Red Tape, where we navigated the state licensing. We looked at the certifications and non-negotiable insurances without losing our minds. It was just a lot of information, but very important when you're starting your own senior care business. Okay. Then we got into the money last episode. Bootstrapping versus the SBA loans, surviving the cash flow gap, and pricing for maximum profit, because we looked at both private pay and we looked at Medicaid. So if you're going to own your own senior care business, is it going to be assisted living? Is it going to be home care? Is it going to be a non-medical companion business? Is it going to be an adult daycare center? There's so many different industries out there and specializations that you could certainly go for. I've chosen right now, the path I've chosen after doing 3 decades working in healthcare and senior care, hospitals and nursing homes and assisted livings, was I decided to leave the inside walls, so to say, after my last building that I ran in as a nursing home administrator. And now I'm in non-medical companion business. That's how we started last January. Here we are. We're entering our second quarter of our second year, and I'm still very focused I'm still very focused on building our non-medical companion business, which stays without, stays outside of the perimeters of DOH, New York State regulations, CMS, Medicaid, um, certifications. There's a lot of licensing involved when you go into home care, medical. We're not there yet. And I'm in no rush, folks. Slow and steady wins the race. Now, you need to look at yourself when you're starting a business, and you have to decide, do you want to jump into home care first, or do you want to start your non-medical companion business? That's very important question that you should ask yourself, because I could have gone either route because of my experience. I'm an active licensed nursing home administrator, and the Department of Health knows me. I've been in their buildings that they've overseen and came in and done audits and surveys on, and whether it was in assisted living or nursing home. I even dealt with. I had to do some preparations when I was working in the hospital system too, for for the Joint Commission. It's a whole different regulating agency, but mostly for hospitals and other such entities. But that is why you have to make that decision. Okay. And again, I'm teaching, I'm sharing my knowledge. I'm sharing my real time growth. If you're following me just to see how we're growing, awesome. I can help you along the way. Um, but again, it all boils down to your own unique self, your leadership style, your education or not. Um, Real world experience working in sales or marketing or some type of a business, and then transitioning into senior care. There is a learning curve. Okay. And so what I'm doing with this starting your own business, care business, is because I'm just giving you a little bit of each. I'm giving you a little information in this subject. I'm teaching you a little bit about leadership style and the other. I'm not. We're not in a big webinar series yet. We are gravitating towards that, and I'm setting up the technical preparations for a webinar series someday. Um, but until then, I'm just giving you the basics. I mean, look, I hope someday that I'll be, invited to, a conference where I can share my wisdom and knowledge, how I've gone and grown in the industry, and then eventually opened up operations outside of the industry, catching the what they call the gray wave, where everyone is wanting to stay home now or go into assisted living. They don't want to go into nursing home. Okay. So this is a great opportunity for entrepreneurs because it's growing much faster, folks, much faster than you think. All right. Of course, I was nervous when I first came in. There was a lot of competition out there, companions everywhere, and home care agencies that were licensed way back in the 90s that are still in business, um, and others that have gotten their licenses. So there's a lot of competition. I have a lot of peers in the business I've known over 30 years. Many of them have gone into those types of businesses. They're working for the owners of those businesses, whether they're franchise businesses, small entities, a small business like myself. I'm bringing in former peers myself as we grow. Many of them are going into managerial roles as we grow. Like I said, I'm in no rush. Okay, this is my last venture in senior care. All right, enough about me. But let's go into our caregiver crisis series. Okay, I mean podcast episode today, which is the second to last of the series um, that I've been going on the pillars of business. Okay, the caregiver price crisis. So let me get my my little pointer out here. Okay. Recruiting and retaining the best. Okay. So the high cost of turnover. Okay. So the industry average turnover right now is about 60 to 80%. Let me see. Do I need more light in here? Whoop. Terrible with the light. Okay. All right. That'll help. Um, but anyway, there is a turnover with staffing. It's been like that, especially since 2020. Okay. Whether it's in assisted living, nursing homes, home care, senior care, non-medical, it's everywhere. Hospitals, but and the cost to replace one caregiver, okay, could be over $2,500 plus. All right. So let's see. You have the license and the funding, okay? But without a team, you just have an empty a building or a quiet phone, okay? We have to look at how we're going to retain the caregivers that we bring in, okay? Because I'll tell you, folks, for a small business, it really hurts when you put all your effort in the beginning and then a week later you lose the person. Okay. Now, again, you can't prevent everyone, everybody makes their own decisions. They come into a company, you could do the best you to your best ability, you know, um, and they still decide to go to another company, maybe that pays more, or maybe this wasn't what they were thinking when they first came in for whatever reasons. I'm not really going into that. What I'm going into is the more of the volume, more of the consistency of growing your business. You're the owner, so you have to always keep the eye on your companions or your staff at the assisted living or the adult daycare center or the medical care center, your HHAs, your CNAs, your personal care aides. Okay, there is a method to this, folks. It's not something that they can just teach you in school. All right. I'm going to explain that as we go forward. Okay. Um, and a good, the results could also be just burnout. You know, some people come to you and then all of a sudden, 6 months later they're burnt out. They didn't realize how much involved it was and they just can't do it. So they go find something else and that's fine. Okay. Again, we can't keep everyone. But very important if you're going to, especially critical for a senior care business that starts to grow in their second year. Okay. Because the first year, you know what you're doing or what you're supposed to be doing. You got to get those clients. And if you have to roll up your sleeves as the owner, like myself, who acquired 4 clients last year, and did them myself, you have to do that. You have to get involved. You have to be there as a companion as you're still working out your operations. All right. All right. All right. So let's go next one. Where the best caregivers are hiding. All right. Modern recruiting sources. You've got your Indeed. You've got your social. There's other social programs too. Craigslist. That's still around. Glassdoor. I don't know, but the only one I really know is Indeed. Um, But and speed is the key on that, folks, because if people are searching on Indeed and they put in their resume that they're interested, they're already going to the next and the next and the next. They're going to get 4 or 5, resumes in, maybe more, and they're going to hope that they'll get 1 or 2 out of that in a phone call. So if you're that business that needs new caregivers, you got to get in there in less than 2 hours. You've got to be on speed dial, folks. All right. You've got to look at your phone constantly here. Put it on alerts, whatever you need to do. Okay. Now, you got this CNA schools. I remember when I was working in the industry, visiting the schools, doing the vendor booths for CNA schools. Um, you build the pipeline early. As a small business, you want to get whoever you can that may be interested in starting companion care before they go into a nursing home. It may be a new, it may be a little easier for them at first to get more experience as they go. But basically, you know, that's how that works. And referral bonuses. Your best staff knows your next stuff. Okay. Now, this is I go on script and I go off script. So now I need to go over that a little bit. Okay. Here's how it is, folks. All right. You've got to look. If you're a person that's been working in the industry, obviously, you're going to have referrals just from not burning your bridges over the years, right? Not burning your bridges by having people that in the industry that you could call upon for maybe a managerial role in your company or a companion. You worked with some aides, and you have this companion uh, that you need for a client that you just took on, and so you get in touch with them, see if they have some part-time availability. You certainly don't want to be pulling people out of their full-time jobs. That's never good for appearances when you're starting a business and you're trying to steal. I hate to use the quote unquote word steal employees. That's not good. Okay. But if they want to work, moonlight, like, I did when I was younger. I worked three aid positions. I worked in one small adult home, then another. Um, you can certainly do that. Okay. Now, me personally, I really have not had to go through the Indeed or the CNA schools. Um, Referral bonuses, yes, I've done some of that. But the thing is, being a smart leader, a savvy leader, and looking at people that your friends, your neighbors, um, people that have had some home care experience, of course. They've worked, even if they've worked with their mother and father, for a few years. It brings experience. Okay, there is nothing out there that no one can convince me. Put it that way, that you need certain certifications to be a dementia specialist or, you know, or patient care aid. You do need for patient care aid, the basic ADL care, and some assistance with non-medical. Um, but it's once you start going into the home health aid, CNAs, they're the ones that have the experience. So if you're going to bring anyone into your home care business, yeah, you want the experience. But I'm talking about senior companions who are not doing anything. We're just doing meal preparations. We're doing transportation services. We're turning on the TV. We're giving watching them get in and out of the shower for safety. If they have mild dementia. Um, Now, I personally, as the owner, will not put anybody who doesn't have a good amount of dementia experience with someone that has dementia. Okay, but they don't need to be a dementia specialist to work with a dementia person, and that's just the way it is. They just need to have the knowledge and know how to. Now we provide training for that as well, but I prefer dementia specialists. So don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say it's a bad thing, but if you're starting a business and you got to get rolling, okay, and you got to bring in qualified people, you may not get those dementia specialists first. So you've got to think, how am I going to leverage this now? How am I going to bring in some people and get them started? But I have a couple of clients that have some dementia. Well, you got a choice. You can invest in it and get the dementia training and train those to become dementia specialists. Um, or again, For example, I've worked in dementia care units my whole 30 years on and off, different years, different capacities, high acuity. And you're going to tell me I need a dementia specialist license to go take care of a resident who has dementia? No, no. All right. So anyway, so you what I'm getting at is you have to be very you have to have a lot of oversight on how you're going to grow your team, folks. Are you going to grow your staff to be able to handle all situations? You got to pick the right people. Again, with the referrals, yes, you can go to Indeed, but I started family first, a sister, a wife's sister, a cousin, a relative, someone you know that's working in healthcare. I mean, in senior care or healthcare, or someone that just has a great personality, is a social butterfly, gets along with a lot of people, and we have a client that needs a companion just to be there, to talk to. That's it, really, to talk to be there when when they get up and walking towards, if they have a rollator or something, be by their side, just there in case they have a fall or get weak. Um, Activities, taking them out to bingo, things like that. So those are the type of people you want to find in the companion business. Now, if you're going for assisted living, okay, you've got the assisted living and the adult daycares. Hold on one second. Okay. Let me get to the next section here. Okay, because I can tend to go off script. Let me see the time here. 22 minutes already. Okay. So the speed to hire strategy. Okay. Don't let them get away. And the 2-hour rule. Respond to apps immediately, right? You want to make sure you're responding as quick as possible. Then you go into your virtual first interviews. Lower the barrier. Okay? Nobody comes into my company unless we meet either face to face or at least virtually. Okay? And even and that's, like I said, that's former peers I haven't seen in a while. I'd like to see how they're doing again. I'd like to see, talk to them and feel that personality again. I mean, I was confident in choosing them, but I just, again, it's just a thing. What's going on in their life? So it's always good. And then if I'm bringing someone that, I'm a family member who has a friend, and they're telling me, oh, this person's great, great. Well, guess what, folks? They're still going to have to go through my interview first before I even send them over to HR. Okay. Then I have to do the process of saying, well, which client would be good for this companion? All right. So interviews are very important, especially before you onboard anyone. And then, of course, you've got the on the spot conditional offers. Okay. And I've had that happen, folks. I mean, I've walked into a facility, or I've gone to an event, a conference, or just, anything. Um, Even meeting some of my peers on the road. Um, you can do an on spot conditional right there if you really have a lot of confidence. Okay. Look, I have a companion, I need a companion. I have a client that needs somebody right away, because in this business, things happen fast. People need help right away. Okay? So if you've got that right person and you think you can get them, at least get them a handshake saying, "Yeah, I can cover this weekend." And then you just go back and you do your thing, you get your background screenings in, you do your onboarding, okay? Now, here's where it gets a little here's where we're going to start going into the retention portion of it now. Okay? Okay. So, okay. So now we're going into beyond the paycheck. All right? We are looking at the retention secrets. Okay. So why the stay? Why they stay? Recognition. Employee of the month with a real prize. Growth. clear path to leader, caregiver, or med tech, and the feedback, weekly check-ins. Listen more than you talk. There's a lot of leadership skills involved, folks. A lot of leadership skills involved when you want to you retain your staff. Okay, the reason why staff and employees stay is because they're recognized. They feel important. That's what you need to do. Make them feel important. Um, let them know that you empathize with them. All right. Okay. So I'm trying to think here of an example. Um, you have employees. You're starting your business. You're going into your second year. I'm just going to go by example. Why do I have most of the staff that I started with since last year? Because my leadership style is I know how to work with people. I've done it for so long. I know people like to be, and they want to see that they have an opportunity to grow with you. Very important. They want to see that they have that opportunity to grow with you. They want to see that there's managerial roles ahead of, everyone would love to be a manager, and we know that. So you could certainly lead people on that path to management positions. Checking in with them, having a conversation with them at least weekly, a few times a week. Hey, how's it going? You know, as we grow, and I feel it too. I mean, when I started, I only had one or two. Now I have a lot more companions. So you got to manage your time, which is a leadership style, but you got to make time for every single staff member. Okay. We're going to have some appreciation luncheons this year. We're going to host our first annual Christmas party this year. Last year, I wanted to, but I said, you know what? We just started getting employees in April, so we did something lower key. All right, but this year is going to be much better. But again, very important. Oh boy, I'm at 3 minutes left here. I really went off script today. All right, let's get to the final spots here. Okay, cultivating a culture of care. Okay, that's where I explained my role. I'm in the field all the time, folks. I am in and out everywhere. Okay, I have my own clients still. Yeah, I have a special series on TikTok called "The Day in a Life of a Companion," and I'm gonna be showing these little clips of real life stuff. Okay, every day. I know because I'm a companion too. Um, Flexible scheduling creates, equals sanity. You have to, otherwise you'll burn out too quick, especially as an owner. Small wins, give small wins, give them gas cards, coffee, thank you notes, whatever it takes. I do a lot of that, a lot of thank you, a lot of um, special things. All right, very important, folks. Next steps: audit your hiring response time. Okay, make sure that you see how people are going in, watch your HR. And if you don't have HR yet and you're doing it all solely on yourself, then, audit yourself, okay, on the hiring response time. Okay, very important because what if you get a growth spurt? I mean, we were slow towards the end of the year, and then the first quarter of this year, our second year, we just exploded, guys. We just exploded, and we took on a lot more hours and clients. Okay. And we still have more coming. We're setting them up almost every week now. All right. So just plan for that because you will get that and you need to have staff ready for it. Okay. All right. And next week, we're going to go into the referral engine. Again, these are just 30 minutes. I'm trying to dump everything in within 30 minutes, folks. But I will be doing a webinar series, probably late spring, early summer, where we'll be able to do more. But for now, um, marketing to professionals is going to be our final episode in this short series that we started before we go into something else. Okay. All right, everyone. Everyone have a great day and enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.